Garment, farming, meat production, car manufacturing, fishing, and beverage industries all have in common? They all use a lot of water. The average automobile can take over 30,000 gallons of water to make. Your everyday pair of jeans takes around 2,800 gallons of water to make. A 2-liter bottle of soda requires anywhere from 180 to 320 gallons of water. And we haven't even touched on the water each of us needs on a daily basis just for drinking, washing, and flushing the toilet. Or the water we use for recreational activities like rafting or fishing. The world's freshwater supply is limited, and industrial consumption is a major drain on the supply. So, where does all this water come from? And who actually decides how it's distributed? Let's take a closer look at the Rio Grande water system and what happens to the water as it runs its course. At nearly 1,900 miles long, the Rio Grande starts as snowmelt high in the mountains of southern Colorado, makes its way through New Mexico, down into Texas, and finally out to sea at the Gulf of Mexico. Along its course, the river supplies drinking water for cities like Santa Fe, Albuquerque, Las Cruces, El Paso, and Juarez City. Farmers in all 3 states also rely on the river to irrigate their crops and provide water for their livestock. In fact, their businesses and livelihoods are so dependent on water from the Rio Grande that they have what's called water rights to guarantee that they will have enough water to meet their agricultural needs. But what if it is a particularly dry winter and Colorado needs extra water that year? Are they allowed to just take as much water as they want since they have first dibs due to its geography? The river starts in Colorado after all. To make sure people in all 3 states, as well as Mexico, get enough water, an agreement has been made about how the water from the Rio Grande is split up. How much water each state gets depends on how much water is actually in the river that year. But with increasing water demands, it is becoming more and more common for the river to completely dry up in the summer before it reaches the Gulf of Mexico. Exacerbating this problem is also the issue of pollutants going into the river. Chemicals and pesticides from farmlands regularly flow into the river, as well as industrial waste and even raw sewage. In 2021 and 2022, a sewage pipe in El Paso, Texas, burst, sending millions of gallons a day of wastewater flowing down the river along the length of El Paso, Juarez. Not only are people downstream of the river getting less water, but they are also getting dirtier water. Fresh water is an essential resource for us all. It is vital that it be managed and conserved thoughtfully. But as water demands increase, what will happen to the communities, economies, and ecosystems along the Rio Grande that depend on it?